All right, good people. I thought I'd just come back real fast and give you something. And it's just something to consider when you read. The people tell you how you should read the Bible. Actually, without a study Bible or anything else, the Bible tells you how you should read it. Read the Old Testament. I promise you, it tells you how I should read it. It gives you an actual time period. It gives you an actual time period when this stuff happened. And you have to look at the prophets. You know when Moses came and stuff like that, and then with Joshua and all the prophets. I mean, after you get out of the Kings and all the other books, start with the prophets. See, everything had already passed. Everything had already passed. And this is one of the main reasons why if you look at it how it's actually set up, you'll realize that Jesus wasn't there then either. And it was talking about the people that were actually there during the time. And I'm gonna give you a few examples of how this book tells you it should read it. I mean, like, this ain't me saying it. I'm gonna read it from the scriptures because people always tell you you shouldn't look at it like this, you shouldn't look at it like that. But I'm gonna give you some scriptures, and it's not me telling you this is how it goes, or some study book, somebody else's interpretation of it already. This is directly from the Bible. So I'm just gonna give you a couple of scriptures from the prophets, and for the people who believe and stuff like that. I mean, like, my point is this. Like I said, if you can, eliminate something, you can. I mean, like me personally, I mean, if I, like I said, if I had to believe, it would be in the Old Testament. But then too, I still think that's a fairy tale too. But I know for a fact from reading that this book, the Old Testament, does not equate to what they're telling you in the New Testament about Jesus. And part of that reason is, like I said, Isaiah 7 and 14. But then too, the reason I'm finna give you now with the scripture. That's why I say a lot of people haven't read. They don't even know this. But the book tells you. Now, here we go. I'm gonna give you a few examples. Okay, so Jeremiah 1, the beginning of Jeremiah, the words of Jeremiah, the son of Hilkiah, of the priests that were in Anathoth in the land of Benjamin, to whom the word of the Lord came in the days of Josiah, son of Ammon, king of Judah, in the 13th year of his reign. It came also in the days of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, until the end of the 11th year, and Zedekiah, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, into the carrying away of Jerusalem captive in the 5th month. All right, so this is the time that Jeremiah happened. So everything that you read about in Jeremiah happened during those times. Happened extremely during those times. Those were the visions that God gave during those times, and those are the things that happened during those times. Now let's go back to Isaiah. All right, Isaiah, the vision of Isaiah, the son of Amoz, which he saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah. So there you go. It's all of Isaiah is meant exactly for those times. Come on, I got some more examples for you. I mean, because people are gonna tell you you should read this and that. Because after the Songs of Solomon, it starts the prophets and what they seen during the times. Hold on. The next one is Ezekiel. So now it came to pass in the 30th year, In the fourth month, in the fifth day of the month, as I was among the captives by the river of Chebar, that the heavens were open, and I saw visions of God. In the fifth day of the month, which was the fifth year of King Jehoiachin's captivity. So now you know where Ezekiel takes place at. So, like I said, I mean, if you think I'm lying, this is how this book is set up. So, if you really wanted to create a timeline and understand what was going on when and where and the visions and things like that, I mean, it tells you at the beginning of each prophet the times that that it was standing for. This is Daniel. In the third year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, into Jerusalem and besieged it. Come on, man. I mean, you can't be listening to these people who trying to, I mean, like I believe the whole book was written as far as like for an agenda for control and stuff like that. And I do believe that. But this is Hosea, the word of the Lord that came unto Hosea, the son of Beri, in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, Hezekiah, kings of Judah, and in the days of Jeroboam and the son of Joash, king of Israel. So Hosea and Isaiah were prophets at the same time. Their stuff happened during the same times. Both of those people, I mean, all of those people were kings. Come on. I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to. If people say, "Well, you twisting the scriptures and this and that," no. If I give you directly from the scripture, the only thing that twisting the scriptures is the person who wrote the study Bible to make you believe that it's stating what it's stating outside of what it's actually telling you. Now, during these times, you can tell me if Jesus was there. I mean, these are the problems I'm reading from. I'm reading from the first chapter of the prophets. Hold on. I'm gonna give you the ones that's telling you that this happened during this time and that time. I'm trying to make this as quick as possible. All right. Now here we is in Amos, the word of Amos, who was among the herdmen of Tekoa, which he saw concerning Israel in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah, and in the days of Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel, 2 years before the earthquake. All right. So think about this. In New Testament, when did they say the earthquake? It said 2 years before the earthquake. So you mean to tell me that Jesus was already 31? Or however old, well, no, Jesus had to be 31 if it was 2 years because supposedly he died at 33. That means Jesus was there. That means Jesus was there. Why aren't they talking about him right now in the Old Testament? Why aren't they telling you that he walking around preaching and doing whatever he said he was doing? Why ain't he doing any of this? Think about it. That's okay. That was Amos. Okay, here you go. Now some of them, like it has other ones, but it was pertaining to other people, like other people who did Israel wrong, of what was going to happen to them. And then it had visions of, you know, of God coming back, everything that would happen during the time of when he would raise King David and things like that. I'm telling you, this has nothing to do with Jesus. I'm sorry, and I mean I know like we've been a misled sheep all of our lives. I mean, from our ancestors all the way down. I mean, like all they could do is what they were converted to do, what they were forced to do, things like that. Okay, so Micah, the word of the Lord that came to Micah, the Moristite, in the days of Jotham, Ahaz, Hezekiah, kings of Judah, which he saw concerning Samaria and Jerusalem. So here we go again. Micah, Isaiah, and Amos. I mean, all of them, the same exact time. The same exact time. That's why I say this book, it gives you a timeline. You don't have to listen to these other people telling you, nah, don't look at it like this, don't look at it like that. I mean, you might as well ignore the timeline if you're going to do that because it's telling you. Hold on, give me a second. We almost down at the end of the real prophets. Let me see. I'm gonna skip to Malachi. Malachi is the last book. And now, in Malachi, you get the burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. And this is all he telling them. I mean, pretty much in Malachi, he's summing up like, man, I done did everything for y'all. And here y'all is, ain't doing what I'm asking y'all to do and stuff like that. And this is the point where I believe, I guess he turned his back on them. And this is when he tell you in Malachi 4 and 5 that he's going to send back Elijah before the great and coming day of himself, not nobody else. And like I said, just go back. I mean, like I'm not twisting up no words. Everything I read to you is at the first word of every scripture. I mean, the first chapter of every scripture of the prophets. It tells you it happened during this time that these people were kings. So if you go back and you read Kings and stuff like that, you have to believe, according to this, that Jesus was born. But go to the New Testament. They're gonna tell you who's king during that time and what they was doing and stuff like that. Them people were not alive during this time. I mean, the New Testament is a whole nother book that has nothing to do with the Old Testament. Now, I'm sorry, but I'm just giving you what I see. This is how you should read this book. You should go to, if you wanted to put it in any kind of order, go to the top of every prophet, and it'll tell you back when he was kings. So in all actuality, and it's proven in this book too, that a lot of the scriptures from Kings are copied. I mean, word for word too, no lie. In the other chapters before Kings and around that, all those verses appear in the prophets' verses as well. Even some of the Psalms appear in the prophets' versions. And I can prove that too. I got a whole list of duplicate scriptures. But if you want to see triple scriptures, then go look at the New Testament where they didn't copy it and used it. When I'm telling you, it's meant for the people during the time based on who was king at the time. So just like I said, go back and look at that. And that's how you should read this book. You should read this book according to what some study Bible told you. This book has a timeline on it. If you read the first chapter of the prophets, and you can go back into Kings, and it'll tell you who was king at the time, and so you can just read and put that together, and you'll get a shorter period of time than this whole book is written. This book could have been cut in half almost. I mean, and I'm talking about the Old Testament, not the New Testament. The New Testament is some completely other made up fallacy or whatever you want to call it, man. But like I said, go back to the top of every prophet and go from there, and you'll see. All right, good people.